Some children don't remember being children. They remember being responsible. If you grew up too fast, you might look successful on the outside, but feel exhausted on the inside. This is the psychology behind it. Hi, I'm Jill. I've worked as a psychotherapist for over 25 years, and on this channel, we explore how early life experiences like childhood trauma can shape how we think, feel, and relate, including why some of us tolerate far more than is healthy in our adult relationships. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. It truly means a lot. And if you're new, I'm really glad you're here. If this video resonates, please feel free to like or subscribe or share. It helps this work reach other people who may need it. Thank you for being here with me. So what does growing up too fast actually mean? You might have been told, oh, you were always so mature for your age. Maybe you were the kid adults always trusted, the one who handled things when everyone else fell apart. On the outside, that might sound like a compliment, but for many people, it came at a cost. Because growing up too fast doesn't mean you were advanced. It means you were required to be something you weren't ready to be. Psychologically, it means a child had to take on adult, emotional, or practical roles before their nervous system was ready. And this shows up in something called parentification, where the child becomes the emotional support for a parent, the caretaker for siblings, or the responsible one holding the family together. For example, a 9-year-old who learns not to cry because their parent is already overwhelmed, or a 12-year-old who knows how to calm their mum down better than any other person, or a teenager who manages the bills, the emotions, or family conflict while pretending everything is fine. The key difference is they didn't choose maturity. They adapted for survival. Most parents don't intend that their child or children grow up too fast. They don't intend for it to happen. Common reasons it does are things like if parents are emotionally unavailable or emotionally immature, where there's financial stress or poverty, where there's illness, addiction, or mental health struggles in the family, or divorce or unstable family dynamics, or perhaps being the oldest sibling in a chaotic and busy household. Now, an example of this could be when a child notices that when they ask for help, it causes stress, so they stop asking. They learn, if I handle things myself, things stay calmer. That child isn't strong. They're adapting to an environment where their needs feel inconvenient, and over time, adaptation becomes identity. Question for you. When you were a child, who took care of you? Or did you learn very early to take care of yourself, maybe others? If this was you, please put a yes in the comments, or if you prefer, just put in a yellow heart. So what does the inner world of a child who grew up too fast look like? Well, internally, for children like this, they develop a few core patterns. First one is hyper responsibility. They feel responsible for everybody's emotions and well-being. If someone's upset, they assume it's their fault. Gosh, this is such a common theme with clients over the years. I remember one client who apologized for everything. And she caught herself one day apologizing to a friend while they were on a walk for the rain. So that feeling responsible, or that you're at fault, or you're responsible for the other person's emotions. Secondly, emotional suppression. They don't express sadness or fear because there was no room for it. But here's the thing, they felt it. They felt the pain. It's still there. So a child learns to shut down the feelings, to deny them, or to become numb. Number 3, fear of being a burden. They believe love is conditional, earned by being useful, by being calm, or by being helpful. Such as a child who comforts a crying parent after school instead of talking about their own bad day. They learn early, my feelings come second. Ironically, these children are often praised. You're so mature, you're so caring, you're so easygoing, you're so strong. What they hear is, I'm lovable when I don't need anything. And this can show up in adulthood. See if you recognise yourself in this. As adults, they may feel deeply uncomfortable asking for help, or they may overfunction in relationships. They give more and they take nothing or very little. They take pride in being the strong one, the fixer, and it becomes part of their identity. Or they feel guilty for resting or doing nothing. And in this way, it's as if not being productive is bad. Or they might struggle to identify their own needs. They might even find it impossible to tune into what they need because their focus is always on others. For example, an adult who listens to everyone else's problems but feels awkward sharing their own. They say, I'm fine, I'll deal with it, even when they're drowning. Or someone who chooses emotionally unavailable partners because chaos feels familiar and calm feels unsafe. They don't feel tired because they're weak. They feel tired because they've been emotionally working overtime since childhood. You know, and that can bring a hidden grief of growing up too fast. And with clients, one of the things I find is that one of the hardest parts is the grief that no one talks about. The grief for the adulthood they didn't, for the childhood they didn't get, the safety they didn't feel, or the softness and the nurture they didn't receive. Many people minimise this. Oh, okay, it wasn't that bad. Others have it worse. I've survived. But survival isn't the same as being nurtured. And sometimes this grief shows up as sudden anger later in life, or a kind of sadness you can't explain and you can't quite shake off, or feeling emotionally younger than your age in your private moments, such as not really feeling safe inside, and feeling just a generalised anxiety. This isn't regression, it's a delayed processing, as if there's a gap in your programming. So, how do we heal it? We reclaim what was skipped. Healing doesn't mean blaming your parents. It means recognising what you needed and what you didn't receive. So, healing can look like letting yourself rest without earning it, or practicing asking for help in some small ways, setting boundaries without explaining yourself. So, for example, I'm not able to do that, and then put a full stop behind it. Or allowing yourself to play, to feel joy, and to be imperfect. Life is messy sometimes. Human beings are messy sometimes. It could also mean choosing not to fix someone else's emotions, or letting a silence exist without having to make it okay. Letting yourself be cared for, even when it feels uncomfortable, or it might even feel like a bit of a fuss. Still, let it happen. You need it. And this work is often called inner child work. But at its core, it's about learning something new, that you are valuable even when you're not useful, even when you're not serving another person, that you are valuable even when you're not a shock absorber for others' emotions or the peacemaker for others. Growing up too fast kept you safe. It helped you survive. But you don't have to live in survival mode forever. You deserved a childhood, and even now you deserve rest, care, and softness. If this resonated with you, you're not alone. It was me in the past too. And healing doesn't mean becoming someone new. You don't need to get rid of these parts. You just don't have to let them run everything anymore. It means finally becoming who you were meant to be. So today, I invite you to notice one moment where you automatically took responsibility for something that isn't actually yours. And pause. You don't have to change it, just notice it and gently remind yourself, I don't have to fix this to be okay. Thank you for being with me today. And next week, I am going to be describing how to identify a narcissistic person by how they speak to you. And I am bringing quite a bit about narcissism because one big strand for childhood trauma is narcissistic abuse. Many people with trauma experienced it. Not everybody, but many people. Anyway, if that is something that just sparks your curiosity, I hope to see you next week. And in the meantime, you take good care. Bye for now.